This is KSC Radio News. I'm Austin Cook.
And I'm Henry Hobson. Keene police have recently arrested a homeless man in possession of stolen firearms. The Sentinel reports 23-year-old Adrian Russell was arrested walking near the intersection of Court and Union Street. Investigators said they have security footage of Russell taking the weapon out of an unlocked vacant truck. He was then taken to Cheshire County Jail and charged with felony possession of a stolen firearm. Russell appeared in Cheshire County Superior Court on Monday, December 2nd.
A Hinsdale man has pled guilty to 15 counts related to child pornography on his computer hard drive. The Keene Sentinel reports Gary Coonrod was arrested in West Virginia. Police say they found out about the child pornography after Coonrod's girlfriend's therapist had reported him. The therapist had learned about Coonrod having illicit photographs during a session with Coonrod's girlfriend. Coonrod has been sentenced from 9 to 30 years in prison.
Keene State College is one of the best field hockey players in the nation. After just 3 seasons in a KSC uniform, Nina Bruno is the second on KSC's goal-scoring list, with 75 career goals. She's also second on career points list with 177. KSC Radio's Travis Thuot talks to the LEC Player of the Week about her continued scoring success.
Hard hit there. That is a goal! Owls get on the board first.
You hear that a lot when Nina Bruno is on the field for Keene State field hockey. She's climbing in the record books and already has an All-American honor.
It's an amazing feeling. I'm glad that my hard work has been shown and that it's shown off in some sort of way, but I definitely could not have gotten there or gotten that title without my teammates and the coaching staff, so I can't take all the credit. I have to give it to them as well.
Head coach Amy Watson has watched Bruno develop for 3 seasons. She says Bruno is the type of player who could set an example on and off the field.
She brings a leadership in the example of the way that she works, which I think is good. You know, you can always say work hard, but when you see that, your older players on your team are working hard, it motivates the younger kids to do the same.
Senior captain Haley Beaupre has had a close connection with Bruno ever since they met her sophomore year. Beaupre says she has come to value Bruno as a player and a person.
She's just one of the greatest people I know and that I have in my life, and she really is part of the glue that holds us together as a team on and off the field.
With 1 more season to go, Bruno has more individual records in her sights, but she wants her legacy to be more than just personal achievement.
I really hope just to leave my mark on not only this team, but at Keene State itself. Really just leave a name for, again, not just myself, but this team as an organization.
Bruno and the Owls will play for the LEC Conference Tournament Championship against the Worcester State Lancers. Travis Thuot, KSC Radio News.
Unfortunately for Bruno and her team, the Owls fell short in the LEC Conference Championship.
The season of giving is upon us, and so are fraudulent charity calls. The Keene Sentinel reports criminals presenting themselves as charities use the holidays as a prime time for phone donation scams. Vermont Attorney General T.J. Donovan says if you receive a call pressuring you for a donation, ask questions about how your donations will be used. Donovan also says donors should make donations by using established charity websites. People can find out about any charity through the Consumer Assistance Program at 1-800-649-2424. Again, that's 1-800-649-2424.
In New Hampshire, homelessness is a rising issue. New Hampshire Public Radio reports homelessness in the Granite State increased by 10% between 2016 and 2018. In Keene, the 100 Nights Homeless Shelter helps give homeless people a place to stay, and they're doing that amid problems of their own. KSC Radio's Matt Holderman tells us about the housing issues facing the homeless shelter.
Everybody should come visit. Should see how small this place is.
That's Mindy Cambiar, the executive director of 100 Nights Homeless Shelter. She's facing a problem. Her shelter gives food, warmth, and housing to homeless people, but there's only room for so many.
We have 25 beds in November and in April.
And although they have an overflow site with another 12 beds, only having room for 37 total people is, a majority of the time, not enough.
So we've been at capacity since last Monday. So we've had 25 people here, and we've had 3 nights where we had 3 or 4 people staying a week overnight downstairs because we didn't have an overflow site open.
So, 100 Nights needs a bigger space. Cambiar says they've been searching for over 3 years, but haven't been able to make the move.
Well, I mean, we've been looking for more than 3 years now. We've tried to get a zoning variance on a couple of buildings, and it just didn't happen, which is really too bad, because if we'd gotten the first building we looked at, we wouldn't have this issue now of being over capacity.
Cambiar says part of the reason the move hasn't happened has been neighbors who don't want 100 Nights moving in next to them.
You know, there's not really a designated place in the zoning code that says you can go here, you can go there without getting a variance. So as soon as you open it up to having to get a zoning variance to move in somewhere, you open up the possibility of anybody who's a neighbor or a butter coming in and saying, no, we don't want you there.
Therefore, the search to find a new home continues for 100 Nights. Fortunately for the shelter, the Keene City Council is looking for ways to make it easier for 100 Nights to make the move, including changing the city's definition of homeless shelter and expanding zoning districts.
Because they had us all lumped together under lodging house, and we're not a lodging house. So they've come up with new definitions that are about to get voted on at the city council level, and then they're also talking about establishing new zoning districts so that we have a bigger footprint to look for a place in.
With 100 Nights already being at capacity heading into the harsh winter months, finding newer, bigger housing will be crucial so that people like Amanda and her children aren't stuck out in the cold.
How has 100 Nights helped you?
It's made it safe so my 2 sons and I aren't homeless.
Matt Holderman, KSC Radio News.
While homelessness in New Hampshire has increased by 10% since 2016, homelessness in Cheshire County alone has decreased nearly 20%.
There are now less than 100 days until the 2020 New Hampshire primary. That means campaigning on campus is ramping up. The rules are for when, where, and how political groups can operate on campus. But sometimes those rules aren't followed. KSC Radio's Vincent Moore tells us how Keene State is dealing with this issue.
Walk into the Student Center on campus any weekday, and you're likely to see a campaign information table for one political candidate or another. The Student Center is one of the approved venues for campaign tabling. The other venue is Oya Hill. These are some of the rules the college has to accommodate political organizations while preventing them from disrupting campus life. Policy covering political activity on campus is found in the Student Handbook under Use of Facilities. Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusiveness, Kimberly Schmidl-Gagny, is in charge of educating campaigns about the rules and enforcing them.
What we've tried to do is provide venues and opportunities that are available to all those organizations.
Schmidl-Gagny says the restrictions on canvassing are in the interest of the students.
We don't want to stop folks from getting their messages out, but 2, we want to protect the privacy of our students and their lives in the residence halls and in classrooms. We don't want the canvassing to become so overwhelming that it impacts the quality of students' lives on campus.
But Keene State College Republican President Johnny Iacobucci says not everyone has been following those rules.
The Warren campaign was actively tabling on unauthorized places on campus. The Warren campaign has also been canvassing across campus, which the school specifically says that it's not allowed.
Iacobucci says that he reported these instances to Schmidl-Gagny and Campus Safety. That led to a meeting in October between administration and campus political representatives to address some of the concerns that he raised. Schmidl-Gagny, in an email response, wrote that the college has taken the information from that meeting and is following up on the issues. This isn't the first time that the college has run into difficulties with a political group. The Keene Sentinel reports that in 2018, youth voting organization NextGen NH violated college policy when it sent canvassers into student dorms. This incident prompted Schmidl-Gagny to take a different approach in 2019. Changes were made, like the designated tabling areas, to give the college a better understanding of who is canvassing on campus and to provide appropriate venues for their activities. Despite this, Iacobucci says that the unauthorized canvassing is still happening on campus.
I've seen, and not just myself, my members of my club have sent me pictures and so on and so forth of certain reps still canvassing on campus, outside the gymnasium, around the student center, outside dorms. So I think that that was part of a school's effort to, suppress some of concerns. But I'm fearful that was more of all talk.
Schmidl-Gagny wrote in an email response that she has received each complaint from Yakabuchi and KSC Republicans and has followed up on all of them. Vincent Moore, KSC Radio News.
According to ballotpedia.org, there are 17 candidates running in the 2020 New Hampshire Democratic primary.
Police have arrested a woman for allegedly stealing food at Cumberland Farms. The Sentinel reports police have arrested Taylor Abbott. Police say Abbott is suspected of stealing several tall cans of beer, a bag of chips, a sandwich, and beef jerky. Officers also say that when confronted, Abbott became violent and started kicking and spitting at officers. Abbott was charged with robbery, resisting arrest, criminal threatening by conduct, parole violation, 2 counts of assault, and 3 counts of possession of controlled drugs.
It's not often that a player can help their team win 7 championships in a row. But who can say they've done that twice? That's exactly what Keene State field hockey player Allie McCall is trying to do. KSC Radio's Matt Holderman tells us more about the Owls' standout player and her run for a second septuplet of championships.
For the last 6 years in a row, Keene State field hockey has dominated the Little East Conference. The Owls are a perfect 6 for 6 on championships since 2012 and are looking for their 7th in a row this season. That's Allie McCall, a senior defender on the team, cheering for her teammates. Winning 7 championships in a row would be nothing new for her. 4 years ago, McCall went to Watertown High School in Massachusetts, where she played field hockey for the Watertown Raiders. All 4 of her seasons there, she helped the Raiders win the state championship. And the championship McCall helped the Raiders win when she was a senior was the team's 7th in a row.
I just super lucky to be able to play at Watertown High, like where I grew up. That field hockey program, Miss Donahue, Eileen Donahue, she's been the coach there for like 30 plus years. I'm not sure the actual number, but she's just like, I would be like, even like the player I am right now, I still wouldn't be if I didn't have Miss Donahue.
Like many Watertown players, McCall went on to play NCAA Division I field hockey in college. She spent her freshman year playing at the University of Vermont, but wasn't happy at a bigger school.
UVM is obviously a huge school, and academically I felt like my high school was very small, and so then I went to this massive college, and then I felt just like, I don't know, I didn't feel like academically I could do my best in with such a large setting with like classes with 200 people behind me.
So she transferred to Keene State her sophomore year and joined another very successful field hockey program yet again. The Owls coach Amy Watson was very happy to get a player like McCall on the Owls roster in 2017.
Oh yeah, that was great. I knew of Allie before she came to Keene, and we were interested in her. But, heard she was going to, University of Vermont and got a scholarship to go up there and play D1. But when we heard that it wasn't going as she wanted it to up there and was interested in coming to us, that we were really excited.
In her 2 full seasons at Keene State so far, McCall has helped the Owls win the LEC title twice, which were the team's 5th and 6th in a row. Now this year, in McCall's final year with the Owls, they're in contention to make it 7 in a row, just like McCall's high school team did in her final year there.
It's definitely going to be extremely challenging. I think we have to go out and just play the field hockey that we all know that we can play. I think we all know that we can win it. It's just a matter of if we're going to do the right things to win the game.
McCall and the Owls will have their shot at that 7th championship Saturday against Worcester State in the LEC championship game. Matt Holderman, KSC Radio News.
Unfortunately, the strive for 7 did not come out as McCall and her team had hoped. The Owls lost to Worcester State 6-0. This has been KSC Radio News. I'm Austin Cook.
And I'm Henry Hobson. Thanks for listening.